My number one asked question, what griddle should I buy? If you ask 10 different people, I can guarantee you 10 different people are going to give you 10 different answers. So in this video, it's all about guiding you to make the best decision possible for you. It's all about preference. Hey guys, welcome to Flat Top King. Hey, today we're going to break it all down. 8 things to consider before you buy your first flat top grill. We will break this video up into 2 videos. This is video number 1. Video number 2 will read pros and cons, Pit Boss versus Camp Chef versus Blackstone. In that video, we're going to give you the pros and cons of each griddle that we own. Think about this before we even get started. There is so much information out there that we're going to try to just narrow it down. But there's also a thing out there that's kind of like poking me in the neck and saying I should talk about it. Brand awareness. Think about this analogy. Look how many different type of vehicles are on the road. We won't name them all, but you guys know the common ones, right? So when we talk about preference through this video, it's because this is how I could relate. Do you need a vehicle that has horsepower, pulling power? What about miles per gallon? What about if you're a family of 8 and a 2-seater car doesn't work? You got people out there that swear up and down that if you don't buy a Ford, you bought the wrong thing. You guys see where I'm going with it? Sometimes it's about budget. Sometimes it's about accessories. Sometimes it's about the best deal at the time. That's everything we're about to go over. The first thing to consider, griddle size and how many burners. I'm not sure of all the information out there, but it goes from 1 burner and I know all the way up to 6, right? Perfect analogy. You can't feed a group of 20 on a 2-burner system. Does that make sense? So when you're thinking about it, you need to see what needs you have. What are you cooking for? Are you going RVing? Are you keeping it at the house? Do you have a lot of parties? That's the idea that you have in mind. Something else to keep in mind. I have stressed since day 1, the bigger the griddle, the better. The idea situation is the idea of a 4-burner. Why? Because 2 reasons. You're allowed to move the food over and clean as you go. And when you're cooking multiple items, you could put a cooling rack or a cookie rack or something, and you can elevate your food, which also helps spread the size of the griddle, but it keeps your food warm. And one last thing, when you're talking about food on a 4-burner griddle or a 2-burner or a 6-burner, think about how many ingredients go on the griddle, right? If you're doing chicken hibachi, you got everything from your sauteed vegetables to your fried rice to your chicken. That's a lot of ingredients that go on a griddle, so you need the extra space to be able to produce, a good amount of food. That's why the 4-burner is perfect for our family. We have 2 young girls, it's me and my wife, and our family comes over very often, and the 4-burner to us is the perfect griddle size. The second thing to consider is what type of griddle surface would you like? The Pit Boss has came out with like an absolute bombshell of technology. It's called the ceramic coated armor plated griddle. This does not need maintenance. It does not need seasoning. It's literally quick and easy, just using paper towels. Very easy to maintain, very easy to clean. On the Camp Chef or on the Blackstone, it comes with your traditional rolled steel. This involves a little bit more maintenance. You're familiar with seasoning cast iron. You would treat these the same way as cast iron. They are rust prone. They have to be reseasoned. They are oiled after every use. With that being said, an advantage of the rolled steel is it's almost going to outlive you, right? As long as you maintain it, you can reseason it as much as you want. Metal utensils, not a problem. The third thing to consider when you're buying a flat top grill, hood or no hood. The Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle comes with the hood, okay? A lot of them in the line come with hoods. When I bought my Camp Chef, it did not have a hood. You have to buy an aftermarket cover. There are some aftermarket hinged hoods. I have not gone that route. At the time, I didn't think I needed it. The Blackstone, depending on which model you have, also comes with a hood. I can tell you from my personal experience, we have taken the hood off of this just for filming purposes. This has nothing to do with the average person cooking at home. I would recommend 100% a griddle with a hood because it just adds so much more, what would you call it?
Versatility.
Versatility, exactly. Hood or no hood, I'm check mark for a hood. After all that, you're thinking, why the hood though? I don't understand. We talked about versatility. It's really easy to cut your surface off, right? Close the lid. Now all of a sudden you're melting cheese. We've done biscuits and gravy on the Pit Boss. That was absolute epic. Why? Because we put a cooling rack on the surface. We put our canned biscuits right on top of it, close the lid, and now all of a sudden you get the oven effect, right? The heat is trapped and it circulates. That's why, in my opinion, the hood is a check. The fourth thing to consider, portability. Is that important to you? Let's just go over the idea. We know that Blackstone has a plethora of different griddle sizes and varieties, right? Everything from like a 2-burner all the way up. Are you looking for a griddle for your RV? Are you looking for a griddle for your lake house, your log cabin in the mountains? Are you looking for your back porch? All that is information to consider. Are you going to be transporting a lot to tailgating or ball games with your kids, right? So portability is important. The Pit Boss has a lift-off feature. You keep the same stand, you undo the hooks, you undo the tank, and you can lift this whole thing up, and it's got legs underneath, and you can take it with you. I think that's pretty cool. The Camp Chef just has different options. They've got smaller griddles along with the Blackstone. So you're going to need to think about how and where you're going to use your griddle. The fifth thing to consider when buying a flat top grill, your budget. Everybody's got a different one, right? How much money are you willing to put down? You can buy them almost like brand new for, let's just say $250 to $300. You can go all the way up to like $1,400, $1,500. You can buy them on Marketplace or a griddle group or your friend's neighbor down the road for 50, 60 bucks. It happens all the time. You just have to do the work. So just keeping that in mind, what griddle you need based on the budget that you have. The sixth thing to consider, and I absolutely consider it kind of high on my list when I'm looking for griddles, the grease management system. It's almost like a huge controversy. There are people that swear by it. And there are people like, cool, it comes with it, whatever. I was in the Navy for 4 years. The grease management system that we had the grease coming towards you. It had a grease trough and the grease piled up on the left side underneath the griddle. There's people out there that are going to tell you the only way to do it is has the grease system in the back. I think that's completely irrelevant. It's all about preference and what you're used to. If you've never had a griddle before, it might not matter. When you've been on the griddle for a long time, personally, I like pulling the grease towards me versus pushing the grease away from me. That's a preference that I deal with. Let's go over here. When people talk about, can you get this in the picture? Here. When people talk about grease management systems, I see it all the time about these aluminum pans that people let the grease build up. And all it does is protect your grease trap. This is actually the original one, and I don't own any more. I personally do not use these. I just use the grease trap that it comes with. It's non-stick, it's coated, and I just wash them however many times it needs to be washed. It's not a big deal. You already have to wash your spatulas and bench scrapers, so why not a little bit of grease? If you're worried about where you're going to find these, I think that is a zero starter. On the Camp Chef, you guys can see the hole is a lot smaller, right? Once your shelf is up, you just slide it right in and it catches your grease just like that. There will be people on there that say they don't like the grease system on this. It's not because of the way the grease flows, it's because they don't like the grease hole being so small. My personal opinion, I feel like it's perfect because it's not for food debris. It's for grease. It's a grease trap, not a food trap. That's just a personal opinion. Over here, you can see the Pit Boss has it in the front. but there's no trough. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And there's my grease, just left over in the same cup, no pan, no nothing, okay? That just gives you the idea. What preference you like, once again, is up to you. The seventh thing to consider when buying a flat top grill is your flat top surface. Does it come pre-seasoned or do you have to season it yourself? Let's go to the Blackstone. The Blackstone is a rolled steel. It comes non-seasoned. Just to be up forward and honest, okay? These are different griddles than what we had in the military and the Navy. We had stainless steel griddles. We did not have to season them, okay? These are treated just like cast iron. I was nervous, just like probably many of you are, about how to season. I can attribute it to just like riding a bike. Once you do it and you have success, it's almost like second nature. You do it over and over and over again. I would not be hesitant. There's one of them hawks again. I would not be hesitant on buying a flat top grill based on pre-seasoned or non-seasoned, right? I actually like the idea of starting from the ground up. We did a video on how to season a brand new Blackstone griddle. And before I even seasoned, I took a little sandpaper and knocked off the rough edges. I'm gonna show you on the camp chef why that's important. At the time, one of the biggest things on my list, I liked the idea that the camp chef came pre-seasoned. Why? Because I was nervous about it. I didn't want to mess it up. We talked about budget, right? The last thing I want to do is spend hard-earned money on something. It comes to my house and then I ruin it. So the camp chef came pre-seasoned, which kind of took the idea off of creating that smooth surface before you start. If you've ever run your finger across a brand new Lodge pre-seasoned skillet, it still feels pretty rough, right? Same thing with this. Even though it's pre-seasoned, it's not as smooth as it can be. Let's go to the Pit Boss. Really quick, the Pit Boss actually already comes seasoned naturally, right? You don't have to pre-season or season or anything. You get it out of the box, according to package instructions, good to go. Last but not least, number 8, right? It's all about the accessories. It's about what you want. It's all about the perspective of what you're looking at when you come to buy a flat top grill, okay? There are some things out there that have perceived value. They're additives. Is it really something that's going to sway your mind? Let's just go to the Blackstone really quick. I decided to buy the one with the air fryer. As you can imagine, my other griddles didn't have one, so that was big on my list. Why? Because I just thought it was a neat idea. So far, I have not used it as much as what I thought it would. Is it worth the extra money? That's something you guys need to come up with. The Camp Chef does not come with a lot of bells and whistles, but it's built like a horse. The griddle top comes off, and then you have a gas grill, right? Is that something that you're looking at to basically more bang for your buck, right? The Pit Boss Ultimate Griddle. It comes not rolled steel, the ceramic coated griddle surface. Is that something you're looking for? The ease, the care, the maintenance, the portability, the hinge hood. We've talked about it all. Here are some things that I kind of find don't really matter. Do you need an actual utensil hook on the front? Maybe not. Do you need a paper towel holder on the side? Probably not. Oh, what about the bottle opener? This has a bottle opener. And this has a bottle opener. Do you really need a bottle opener on your back deck? I'm sure that if you're drinking beer or anything that needs a bottle opener, you've already got one in your arsenal. So just to wrap up really quick, that's just a quick idea of what we found over the years with multiple griddles. I hope you guys have found this information useful. Please, please, please reach out, whether it is the Griddle group on Facebook or the comments listed below. You guys can watch any video. Please reach out with questions, comments, or concerns. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share it with your friends.